Hi, I'm Jeff Dubois, and this video will explain proper ground handling procedures for our Jersey Aero Club aircraft. So a good habit before you prepare your airplane to ground handle, anytime you're going to be around the spinner or the prop, you want to make sure that you know where the keys are and that the mags and the master is off. So good rule of thumb, put the keys right on the dash. Makes it easy so everyone knows where it is, plus you can look inside and make sure that the keys are not in the mags. And master's off?
Master's off.
And mags off?
Mags off.
Okay, cool. So I've made sure that the keys are placed on the dash before I do any ground handling work. And I've confirmed that the ignition is off, so mags are off, and the master is also off. Okay, so this is your proper handhold for pushing the aircraft back with the propellers. Notice we're at the base. Again, never push on the spinner, never push on the cowling, never push on the outboard end of the propellers. You want it only at the bases, okay? Wings, you can push at the base of the wings, the wing root only. Do not push on the outboard sections of the wings. So we have tow bars in each of our aircraft. If you're going to need to turn the aircraft, this is the proper way to do it. Don't try to lean on the back side of the airplane and push it down and get the nose to pivot one direction or another. That's just not proper ground handling. Use a tow bar. So the tow bar is placed, make sure it's in both of the holes, and make sure that this bar locks down so it's not going to come out. So basically, you don't really want to try to turn it like this. You want to start rolling it and then put your pressure on it. Okay. If you're not going to use the tow bar, you can have another pilot sit at the controls and operate the rudders while you push or pull the aircraft. Make sure that you're free of obstructions and you've got a ground guide if you're near other aircraft or if there's obstructions behind. I just want to demonstrate the proper tying of knots that we use. So basically it's a real simple knot. So it looks like it starts out as a half hitch, and then we just put this underneath the first half hitch, and then we do another one. We do a second one. And again, it goes behind the first half hitch and down, okay? Now if you have extra rope, you can just tie it off loosely so that it's not sitting in the water, okay? And then the beauty of this knot is it's very easy to untie. There's no like struggling with untying a knot in cold or wet weather. If you have to stop your aircraft on an incline and you're by yourself, make sure that you set the brake before you get out, and make sure you chock the aircraft. Okay, if you have to stop on an incline and you have another pilot with you, one of you can remain in the aircraft to keep your feet on the brakes while the other one chocks the aircraft. Of course, you make sure that the mags are off and the master is off. The time that you're more apt to run into problems is when you're doing something unusual. We don't normally put our aircraft in hangars, and we don't normally work around high snow mounds, snow or ice mounds, and those are good examples of operating in different conditions. So if you look over at the hangar over there, the maintenance hangar, recently we were pushing an aircraft back in there, and all of us were focused on watching the wings to make sure that they were clear of the edges of the doors, and we were looking to make sure that there were no aircraft behind, but nobody was watching up top the tail. And it turns out the door was just barely clearing the tail. So That's more likely to happen in a private hangar where they have the fold-down doors. So just remember, if for any reason you're involved in any activity where you're going to be pushing an aircraft into a hangar, you really need to have someone stand by the ends of the wings to guide them, and you need to have somebody watching the top and the back of the airplane. So snow and ice also present several different hazards for ground handling. The first hazard is really to yourself, trying to push an aircraft when the conditions are slippery. I've seen more than one pilot fall on his face trying to push an aircraft back. So remember that it's going to be slippery and you're going to have to use some caution doing that. The other thing is, when you push an aircraft back, there's likely going to be snow mounds and snow mounds that turn into ice. So you want to make sure that the aircraft is clear of any snow or ice obstructions. And you also want to make sure that our wheels are clear of snow and ice, that they don't get in and freeze up the brakes or otherwise cause us problems later. Okay, the other issue that we've seen, and I'm sure a lot of you have run into, when you take first-time guests into an airplane for a ride, a lot of the guests want to help. So you need to remember that they'll try to be helpful, but because they don't understand the intricacies of what we're doing here, they're likely to cause, or they may cause, damage. So it's up to you to make sure that if you do enlist their help, you're very specific about what they do and give them caution about what they shouldn't be doing. And you still need to observe what they're doing and to maintain positive control. What I like to do, and I notice a number of pilots like to do, is they tell their guests, hey, give me a few minutes, I'm going to go pre-flight the airplane, and do what you have to do to the aircraft to get it ready, and then invite your guest on and give them the safety brief and make sure that they know how to use their seat belts and so forth.